In this video, we'll see how to configure a service or system in the Integration and Exception Monitoring app. This includes configuring data collection filters and creating events. Before you get started, make sure that you are assigned the Integration Architect role. This role is required to configure settings within the application. And make sure that the service or system that you would like to configure is correctly connected and listed in the Landscape Management app. Now let's get started. Open the Integration and Exception Monitoring app from the SAP Cloud ALM Launchpad. It is under the Operations tab. On the app's homepage, open the Scope selector and choose the service or system that you want to configure, and select Apply. Open the Configuration menu. Under Managed Components Services/Systems, select the service that you want to configure. Alternatively, you can choose the Settings icon to go to the Configuration window. In this window, you can see the list of available services with additional information. To turn on Global Data Collection, toggle the switch in the Data Collection column to on. The app will then start collecting the SAP recommended messages and exceptions for the service. To customize your data collection and configure events, select the name of the service or the arrow in the last column of the system to navigate to the configuration screen. In the Monitoring tab, you can view all the available categories for the service or system. In the Events tab, you can define various events for the service or system. Before we start our configuration, let's understand how monitoring and events work and their relationship. In the Monitoring section, we can specify the criteria for messages and exceptions that we want to collect from the service or system. We can either choose to collect all messages and exceptions or only specific ones. When no filters are defined, all messages and exceptions are collected. When there are filters defined, only the specific messages and exceptions are collected. Events are occurrences in the landscape that are relevant for notification or action, such as system error messages or long message processing times. Events operate on the messages and exceptions that are present in SAP Cloud ALM. The app scans the collected messages and exceptions against the active event definitions and initiates the event action when there is a match. In short, in the Monitoring section, we specify what messages and exceptions should be collected by SAP Cloud ALM. And in the Events section, we specify scenarios based on the collected messages and exceptions and the actions to take when they occur. Let's look at how to configure data collection. Select the Monitoring tab. To start data collection for a specific category, toggle its active switch to on. Now, SAP Cloud ALM starts collecting all messages of that category. In my example, I want to collect IDOC messages in the system. Now, let's specify some filters and limit message collection to a certain criteria. Choose Navigate to Filters in the last column of the table to get to the Filters screen. Here you can add filters to limit data collection and conserve the app's memory. To create a filter, choose Add. The various filter options for the category are displayed. Enter a filter name. Specify the filter parameters as required. Use the value help to choose the relevant values. In my example, I only want to collect messages of error and warning status groups. For certain categories, you can collect additional attributes. IDOC is one such category. To configure this, in the Collect Additional Attributes section, choose Add and specify the necessary parameters. If the field contains personal information, enable the Personal Data switch. The app will then display this attribute only to users with the relevant authorizations. Select OK to save the setting. Choose Save to save the filter configuration. The filter that you have just created is now listed in the Filters table of that category. You can also create multiple filters for each category as per your requirements. Now let's create an event. To create or modify an event, navigate to the Events tab. In this tab, you can see the different events configured for the system. Select Add to create a new event. The Event Settings screen opens. Select a suitable event from the Event Name dropdown. For this example, we are going to create an Issues Detected in iDoc Messages event. Specify a display name and an event description to identify the event. The display name is used for the event in the Events table and Event Action Notifications. In the Parameters tab, specify the event parameters. The parameters change for different event types. Select the Help icon to learn more about them. Here, I'm specifying the parameters to create the specific event definition. In the Filters tab, specify the filters for the event. Here, you can define what messages should be considered for the event. Start by specifying a filter name. Define the filter parameters as required. Here, I want to create the event for inbound warning messages. You can also define custom attributes by choosing Add Custom Parameter. In the Grouping tab, specify the attribute based on which the event should be grouped. This can be used to prevent event flooding. The messages are grouped based on the selected attributes, and the event is raised for the message group and not individual messages. In the Event Actions tab, specify the action that must be initiated when the event occurs. Here, you have a menu of actions to choose from. To activate an event action, set the actions toggle to on and provide the corresponding information as necessary. Here, I want to receive an alert in the alerting inbox and email a colleague when the event occurs. I'm enabling the alert action and the send email to action. For the send email to action, I am specifying the recipient as well. Choose Save to save the event. Now, in the Events table, you can see the event that we've just created. To activate or deactivate the event, toggle the switch in the Active column. Choose Save to save the configuration. You've now learned how to set up data collection and events for a service or system. For more information about the app's functions, refer to the Application Help in the SAP Help portal. Thank you for watching this video.